Hello everyone, I'm Spencer, also known as Scotty. I'm the hands behind all the drawings you see on this channel, and the cringy voice that comes around to scream at you every now and again. Recently I've been really wanting to try my hand at some long format videos, and I figured what better way to start than to just kind of rant about my OCs for a bit. Omen is the main character of my story Type O, which takes place in the OC universe I've dubbed Flood Universe. Which is what this whole video will be introducing. He's a snotty, rude, overzealous type character who really dislikes it when he doesn't get his way. He tends to resort to aggression as a first option even when he knows he's obviously outmatched, and has little to no self-preservation. This is partially because, due to his species and the special ability that his body was born with, he's incapable of dying. Kind of like an axolotl, he's fully capable of regrowing all of his limbs and organs, including his brain. In fact, his body is constantly working to regenerate dead tissue. In Blood Universe, there are 3 different levels of social hierarchy, and each is separated from top to bottom of the city, with the rich and powerful anti-humans at the top and the blood beasts at the very bottom. Normal humans tend to sit in the middle and are torn half and half between the ones supporting the beast and the ones supporting the anti-humans. Think Arcane, where because it's a port city, the lower levels are run down and less advanced, while the upper levels are more versed in technology. This has always been a cool concept to me because you can see examples of this happening in real life with modern port cities, because there's so many people and so little room that the only way to build is up. Omen himself was born in the lower parts of the city, but prior to the events of the story, he was caught by a famous politician named Raymond Misery and gifted to his current boss, Lady Cynicism. During the encounter, Omen suffered a head injury that would have been fatal had it not been for his powers, but even with his regenerative abilities, the memories were lost. Now he lives with Lady Sin, wondering what his life used to be like, but too scared to find out. He spends most of his days constantly trying to think up ways that he could possibly delete himself, but hopelessly failing. I'm hoping that as the story progresses, I'll be able to implement characters along the way that change Omen's mind about wanting to end it, but I haven't gotten that far yet. I'll try and make this bit quick since I feel like it's kind of redundant to explain what a human is to someone who is presumably a human. I think the most important thing to note about the social class that humans fall into is that they are, like I said, in the middle of the city. So they're on not the buildings that are the oldest, but also not the buildings that are the newest either. They fall in the ones that are like relatively nice. They're relatively like functional. They have all of the technology you would need to survive. They're treated well. They're treated as people. I mean, they are people. They're treated as citizens. They're allowed to have the same amount of rights as everyone else, right? That is the most important thing to know about humans in this society. I think that the humans that tend to side with the anti-humans are probably the ones that are a lot less experienced with communicating with monsters. They might have not lived in communities that had as many beasts in them. They might not have met as many beasts throughout their lives. They just don't really understand that those people also have the same amount of autonomy as them. Or, on the contrary, they are afraid, which you will see a lot throughout the story if you end up following along, that Raymond and his assistant, Dr. Cash, their entire goal is to make humans afraid of the beasts. That way it's a lot easier to control them. I think that a lot of the humans that end up siding with the anti-humans are either seeking power or falling victim to that propaganda. By this point, you're probably wondering, okay, what the heck is a beast? Beasts are humanoid people with bodies that can hyper-evolve to suit whatever environment they're living in. It takes a few weeks to a few months for their bodies to start changing, but when they do, it's a miraculous process. Some beasts might have paws, others may have talons, some could be fish-like, etc. It's common for beasts to have extra eyes or mouths, with neon blood and sharp teeth. A strange phenomenon also occurs in beasts, where power that could only be considered mystical latches onto them and chooses to inhabit their body. It's generally believed by beasts that humans used to have this power as well, until they angered the gods by claiming to be the superior species. Humans can sometimes claim these abilities from beasts via drinking their blood or consuming their flesh, an ironically unfair exchange considering monsters stopped eating humans thousands of years ago. Anti-humans are by far the trickiest species to sympathize with. The only way to become an anti-human is to consume the blood of a beast. This could be consensually or non-consensually, and due to the power dynamic between the beast and humans, it's usually the latter. Since the Star Era Revolution, a technological period in which they encased the sun spirit inside of a large glass titanium steel dome in the middle of the city in order to power all of their electricity, beasts have gradually and rapidly lost their autonomy. What started as laws put in place to simply protect citizens from dangerous beasts turned into laws against marriage and schooling. And by the time Raymond Misery had entered the playing field, beasts were no longer even considered people anymore, forced to hide at the very bottom of the city in order to live without being seen as a pet or livestock. Anti-humans' treatment of beasts is so dehumanizing that when held in captivity, beast bodies begin to evolve to develop traits of animals typically kept as house pets. Yeah, so I'm actually so sorry about that last part. That was actually atrocious. I don't know what happened. I genuinely could not speak and it just wasn't working. But alas, that's all I really had to say about this for the time being. I'll definitely be making more art surrounding the story going into the future. I am very, very passionate about it right now. I genuinely can't stop thinking about it and I'm very excited to share it with people. I also have been doing some art of my backrooms OCs, and I might upload some of that as well. Not to mention, I recently got into mask making, so that's something that I've been doing on the side, alongside all of my animation stuff, and eventually I will be uploading videos of that as well. If you're still here and for some reason you genuinely liked what you saw, then maybe consider subscribing to the channel. I am very, 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 very passionate about my OCs and my stories, and I genuinely just want to share them with as many people as possible. Okay, that's all. Until next time, bye-bye!